For the last 5 months, the best fighters in Illinois and Wisconsin in each of 4 weight classes have battled their way through the Combat USA tournament to become the #1 ranked professional fighter in their state. Now, these fighters will compete one last time to become the 2011 season champion. At 145 pounds, Illinois champion David Sachs versus Wisconsin representative Josh Steary. 155-pound Illinois bracket winner Jonatas Novice versus Wisconsin champ Sharon Leggett. At 170 pounds, Illinois winner Neil Magny versus Wisconsin interim champ Andrew Trace. At 185 pounds, Illinois champion Lewis Taylor versus Wisconsin bracket winner Whisper Goodman. Find out which fighters will take home 2011 season titles when they put it all on the line in the biggest fights of their lives.
I've judged over 2,500 bouts, including the UFC, and never one time has there been any situation in which any fighter was ever disrespectful to me. That's important because it speaks to their character. These are talented, dedicated athletes that train hard and that give up virtually everything in order to move to the top of their game. There's the dieting, there's the weight cutting, there's the endless hours in the gym. There are unbelievable things that most people wouldn't even think about doing. When you're channel surfing and you come across cage fighting, maybe you think that, hey, these guys, you know, they're just a bunch of thugs. Actually, a lot of them have college degrees. They have aspirations. They have ambition. They know that fighting won't last forever, but in the meantime, this is something that gives meaning to their life. It makes them a better person. It makes them stronger physically, emotionally, and mentally. And when they get into the cage, I often remind them, it's a lot easier to win than it is to lose. Someone's gonna lose, but your character is shown in how you lose.
So at 145 pounds, there's an exciting fight. David Sachs versus Josh Steary. David Sachs, representing Illinois at 145 pounds, is going to try to take our whole title back to Illinois by defeating Josh Steary. David Sachs trains with Keith Hackney's academy. Keith Hackney, if you don't know about Keith Hackney, I mean, he is the original giant killer. If you go back to like UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see Keith Hackney competing. And that's when they didn't have weight classes, they didn't have rules. Here's Keith Hackney fighting a guy that's 600 pounds. Unbelievable guy, has been with the sport for a very long time. You know you're getting trained properly and prepared correctly for a fight of this caliber. Now at 145 pounds representing Wisconsin, we've got Josh Steary. Now these are one of those epic stories you like to hear about, the underdog's chance. He came into this tournament as a replacement, fought last year's state champion for the title as a replacement, won due to disqualification, and now is moving on to represent Wisconsin. So you gotta believe this guy is doing everything he can to prepare to try to go up against a beast like David Sachs. I'm super excited for this fight. It's the typical underdog's chance.
I'm Josh Sterry. We are in Madison, Wisconsin at Chosen Few Fight Gym. I'm 28 years old. I am a full-time fireman and a professional fighter.
When I pull up to a house that's on fire, I want Josh Sterry in my corner. We're going to have to get knocked down a number of times before we stop attempting to put that fire out.
When it came time to decide who's going to replace Nick Aguilar, I went with Josh Sterry. He had more wins than anybody else on our lower bracket. You know, it was the right choice. It's a shame for Nick because he missed a huge opportunity, but it's a blessing for Josh, and that's sometimes just the way things work.
Last fight was April 22nd, the state championships, which I was given an opportunity, a once-in-a-life opportunity to step into this position and fight for the state championship against Josh Cassee. When the illegal knee happened, you know, at the time I was watering, I wanted to continue to fight. The doctor came in and said, no, he can't fight. And that's kind of when it really sunk into me. It's like, oh my God, you know, I didn't want this belt to end this way.
This was a mess. We ended up with a DQ based on an intentional knee.
A fighter gets injured, the doctor has to evaluate that fighter. The doctor will give him up to 5 minutes to recover. Not the situation here. He got evaluated for like 3 seconds. They said, no, you can't compete. Sterry wanted to continue fighting. Doctor told him no. All right, so now we know that the fight's over. Now we've got two options. No contest, disqualification. No contest means that the knee was thrown non-intentionally and it was an accident, but did so much damage that Josh Sterry can't compete. The other way is a DQ. DQ means you had a grounded opponent or the foul was committed intentionally, meaning Josh knew his opponent was down and kneed him in the face anyhow. This ref says he warned Josh, therefore it's a DQ. It was an intentional knee. Looking at my cameras, I don't see the ref's mouth even move, but that's not my choice.
You have to remember, the referee is the sole arbiter of the fight. He's the one that's in the cage. He's the one that's making the final decision, and despite the fact that we attempted to get that decision overturned, it remained.
It's really difficult for me to carry that belt around and be proud, you know, because it didn't come the way that I wanted it to, but nonetheless, you know, here I am. I'm representing the state of Wisconsin and for the national championship, and I'm coming to fight and I'm coming to win.
Chosen Few Gym out of Madison, Wisconsin's old school. They're always on the field, man. They're always ready to throw down and they're always ready to bring their best foot forward.
He's going to be ready to go 35 minutes by the time fight night comes.
You know, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I don't fight off emotion. You know, I don't talk to smack that a lot of people do. I don't get into that. You know, I focus all my energy on my training, and just, you know, I have a job to do, and at the end of the day, that's what I'm prepared for.
I'm David Sachs. I train out of Keith Hackney's Combat Academy in Roselle, Illinois. I got into fighting by doing all kinds of martial arts. Started very young. I like losing at practice. If I'm not training with people that are better than me at one thing or another, I know it's not helping me. So I know I'm getting pushed to my breaking point and past it every day and learning how to overcome.
I think David's such a good fighter because of his commitment to the sport, his dedication, his commitment. He loves to do it.
Fighting's been a part of my life ever since I was a kid. In a good way. I don't, you know, fight for any bad reasons. I like the character it shows. I like the discipline. I like the hard work. and I like the sportsmanship that it shows when all is said and done. I feel honored to represent Keith Hackney's Combat Academy, and we're making our stake in Illinois. So yeah, I feel strong about bringing the Illinois belt to the table. I'm going to win this fight because it's going to be a long night. We're going for a ride to hell and back, and I'm taking you with me. It's going to be a long night for me. I know that coming in. It's going to be an even longer night for you, and I hope you know that coming in.
At 185 pounds, we've got a pretty interesting fight here. We've got Lewis Taylor, who is representing Illinois. The guy is big, he's powerful. He looks like a 205er, his muscles are huge. The question is, can he get that oxygen into those muscles fast enough to be able to last the distance? Whisper Goodman, on the other hand, is just chiseled cut. Looks like a pile of river stones stacked up. But his cardio is out of this world. So will Lewis Taylor be able to finish it fast with his power? Or will Whisper Goodman be able to hang on and wear him down into the second, third, fourth round to where Lewis can't even lift his arms and Whisper pounds him out? This situation with Whisper is a perfect example of what I preach, okay? Me and Whisper don't always see eye to eye. But it's not about me seeing eye to eye with Whisper, it's about having the best fighters fight each other to find out who's the best. And I have to put my personal beliefs aside, and I need to give Whisper that opportunity. And so far through the tournament, thus far, he has lived up to everything and exceeded all my expectations.
Now you've got to fight one of the toughest guys in the state, the #1 fighter, Gerald the Machine Meerschaert. How much do you know about Gerald, and what type of game plan do you have looking forward to him next month?
I heard this and I heard that, but come April 20th, it's going down.
I guess I'll have to go look him up and do some research, but I don't know how tough he is because I never heard of him, so can't be that cool. But
you've just seen Whisper fight. Give us your thoughts on Whisper, and how do you see April 22nd going for you?
He looked good. Went the distance. They both had the gas to do it. It was an exciting fight, but April 22nd, I want everybody to bring a pad of paper and a pen and take some notes because school will be in session.
Hey, Gerald the Machine Meerschaert, and one more round of applause. Tonight's winner and new finalist, Whisper Goodman.
Hey, April 27th, he will know who the Whisper is.
Here we go, folks. Otto Torriero about to get us started for our middleweight championship. Round #1, the Machine versus the Gorilla. Gerald with a big overhand left to open the fight. Definitely wants to test Whisper's chin early here.
I'm really impressed with the way Whisper moves. Very light on his feet for a 185er. Has good control of his feet, good positioning, and he's moving nice and light. Looks like he's setting up his shots. Gerald might be the one that's kind of ready to jump in and jump out here.
Gerald tries another looping left hand. You think he's going to want to start setting that up with some kind of jab at some point. And there's Whisper rushing in with that athletic ability. Picks Gerald up like a rag doll and tosses him on his back.
Again, like we said earlier, Chris, I think the difference in this fight for Gerald might be the fact that, Whisper really truly is a 185-pound fighter. Comfortable at that weight, athletic at it, and I think most importantly, he's going to be really strong at 185.
And here's one thing we've seen out of Gerald Meerschaert in this Combat USA tournament and last year's tournament. The guy is sneaky off of his back, and you saw it right there. Gets up from the bigger, stronger fighter. Uh-oh, Whisper's got his back. Looks like he's sinking in a rear naked choke. We'll see how well Gerald can defend. That looks like it's under and tight. Gerald doing a good job at least staying awake at this point. Whisper squeezing it pretty tight. This one coming over. It's over. We have a new middleweight champion. Whisper just takes all the critics and tells them to sit down. He just won the fight he wasn't supposed to win.
Beat at his own game.
Big, big deal. Whisper the Gorilla Goodman is the new Combat USA middleweight champion with a rear naked choke victory early in the first round here for Combat USA. And Gerald just looks defeated, beat up, not sure what just happened. It was so fast, so quick. Gerald looked like he was getting up out of that that top control Whisper had, and look, and there it is, sunk in the replay there. Nothing Gerald could do about it. That rear naked choke was tight, and like we said, a big, strong fighter like Whisper Goodman, you're not getting that arm out from under you.
No, it's a tough division to have to fight strength with a guy like him.
Wow, folks, well, we've got now 2 new champions here for Combat USA. There's definitely going to be a third one when we move on to our main event, but first, I'm going to head up into the cage. We're going to talk to your new champion, and I'll give you the official winner's announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, the end of this bout comes at 1 minute, 28 seconds of round number 1 for your winner by rear naked choke and the new 2011 Combat USA State Champion, Whisper the Gorilla Goodman.
There's always this controversy with football transitioning to MMA. Football players run fast, they tackle hard, but they're not typically in a fight or in any sport activity for 5 minutes straight, 5 times in a row. And I think because of that, and because of his football history, people tend to underestimate him.
I'm in better shape now fighting in MMA than I was playing football. It's no comparison because, you know, with football, you could take a couple of breaks off. You know, with fighting, it's 5 minutes, just 1 round.
You can say whatever you want, but the guy is, you know, ridiculously strong. You only have to grapple them once to realize that if he wants to put your arm or your head somewhere, you know, he's going to put it there.
He beat last year's state champion, Gerald Meerschaert, who in everyone's estimation is one of the most powerful fighters around, and yet still not getting the respect he deserved.
What do you know about Whisper Goodman? Have you seen him fight before? How do you feel moving on to face an athletic fighter like Whisper?
Hey, he's a tough fighter. I respect him, but the real best in Wisconsin is Gerald, and that's who I'm trying to get to next season.
It's just going to be who's good on that particular day, who's going to display more skills, stand up, ground, defend, everything. It's going to be an all-out battle.
My name is Lewis Taylor. We are on the south side of Chicago, Monsters of the Midway, and this is Chicago Fight Team. I grew up here on the south side, Inglewood, home of the Insanes, gang bang and all that stuff. That's why they call me Handguns. I'm strictly against the bullets, but in that ring, I will bring the guns.
The fight for Lewis, he's representing all of us.
I know Mr. Goodman is a striker, so we're definitely working on our hands and our striking. Lewis is our #1 guy and our main representative right now. I'm looking for bigger and better things for Lewis, to be a champion in one state and go to another state and take their title.
I think this is a big fight for Lewis. I mean, if he wins this is where people start noticing him.
My main strength is power. Anything I do, you're gonna know I did it. Even when I'm tired, I'm strong. So That's why I like to get the fights over with early, quick, and emphatic fashion. The history for MMA goes wrestling, MMA, not football, MMA, and I'm here to keep that going. I'm sorry, I was whispering. Could you hear me? This is Handgun speaking. Wake up, it's over.
£170 is a great weight class, and we had some great fighters here. From Illinois, we've got Neil Magny. Neil Magny, very, very nice guy. You'll see it in his videos, you'll see it talking to him, you'll see it in his fights. That's all you can say about him. He comes from Torres Martial Arts, you know. I don't know what you know about Miguel Torres, but he was a big champion. For a long time, people thought he was unbeatable. And now this guy is being trained by one of the most elite fighters in the world. And he's coming to bring it. And he's bringing it for the state of Illinois and for his coach and gym at Torres Martial Arts down in Illinois. Originally, he was gonna be fighting Lenny Nelson. Lenny Smash Nelson was our 2010 champion. Just an impressive, impressive fighter. But he had a work accident. He works construction. He fell off a roof and broke his back. You know, one thing you learn about Lenny is the nicest guy in the world. And we still use him for commentating and things like that to keep him involved. But unfortunately, we had to find a replacement. Looking at the lower bracket, there's one obvious choice, and that was Andrew Trace. Andrew Trace has been whipping through the charts. This guy has been just catapulting himself through the MMA community. As an amateur and as a professional, never been defeated. And I'm talking like 14 amateur fights before he even turned professional. One of those fights beating Lenny Nelson as an amateur. Lenny Nelson turned pro sooner, climbed the ranks, and Andrew Trace kind of sat back here in the weeds a little bit, calmly waiting for his chance. Well, guess what? This is his chance. This is his chance to be recognized, to get the credit he deserves, and I don't think there's a guy out there more qualified in the state of Wisconsin at 170 pounds to take Lenny Nelson's place.
My name's Andrew Trace. I train out of De Leon Martial Arts Academy in Walworth. We have more traditional steps and we don't know what to expect. It's stuff we aren't, efficient at. They're pretty intense and unique practices. A lot of conditioning, a lot of stuff to push you. So in the fight, you won't have to push yourself. You already be pushed.
Some good guys out there at 170 pounds, but Trace is one of those guys who has kept his mouth shut, kept his nose to the stone, and has been working his way through the ranks.
There were lots of guys out there that deserve a shot, but none more deserving than Andrew Trace. He comes from a solid gym. Ben De Leon is old school, and he does a great job training his fighters.
Andrew's greatest strength is probably his determination. He never give up. Super competitive.
I feel like I don't stop. Even when pushed to the brink, if I'm getting beat, I'm still going to keep coming at him until every ounce of my strength is drained. As long as I go and give it 100%.
This is an opportunity for him to show the whole world, and especially the state of Wisconsin, who hasn't given him the credit he deserves, that he is the best around, and that he is rightfully the guy to be taking Lenny Nelson's place and representing Wisconsin against Illinois.
I've always been the underdog. I feel like I haven't been expected to do, much. I win this and then there won't be any questions. I'll be top of the state and I can continue from there. This fight is a good eye-opener, I feel, for everybody in Wisconsin.
I'm Neil Magny, we're at Torres Martial Arts Academy. Wrestled in high school, wrestled in college. Also was on the Illinois Combatives team. For me to transition to mixed martial arts was pretty easy for me with that base.
The thing that stands out about Neil is, first of all, he's humble. He just comes in and he works hard, always looks for improvement, always looks for someone to build him up, to teach him, to show him the things that he needs to do.
He's strong-hearted and good-willed. He's a tremendous athlete, and he's always ready to put away countless hours at the gym and train for all his fights. No shortcuts with Neil. He's always willing to go the extra mile to do things the right way and train as hard as he can.
He comes to the gym every day and he works hard. He works like 3 hours in the morning doing jiu-jitsu with me, and he comes at afternoon and he works for another 3 hours doing conditioning and boxing and Muay Thai.
I think I'm winning this fight because I'm probably like one of the hungriest fighters I've ever made.
First of all, you got to take into account Neil's body. He's very long, he's very lanky, he's very light. So we're going to work on those attributes and make them stand out. A lot of movements, a lot of using his reach, but at the same time, he's going to be strong on the inside so that he's going to have all grounds covered. Anywhere this fight goes, he's going to be ready.
I prepare Neil to fight anybody right now. I prepare him to be very efficient on the ground.
I think you still haven't seen the best Neil Magny that you're going to see yet. He's always improving. He's always learning. Again, because of his humbleness, because of his work ethic, he's going to be even better come July.
At 155 pounds, we've got a fight that I am so excited to be bringing to the table. From Wisconsin, we've got the state champion, Rob Roy. Rob Roy's fought in WEC, he's fought on national pay-per-views. People have seen this guy all over the world. He's got a big name. Everybody brags about his wrestling ability and how he's impossible to submit. I'm excited. I'm excited to see if that impossible submit mentality is gonna last with a black belt in jiu-jitsu like Jontas Novice. He's representing Illinois. He beat a very, very tough opponent to win the Illinois State Championship. I would say equally as tough as Rob Roy, and he did it decisively. And he wants to climb the ranks, and he trains with guys like Brian Gassaway and Shoney Carter and old school UFC guys. What you're starting to see out here is the old school UFC guys who've been doing this forever, now cultivating the new talent. And this new talent that's coming out is out of this world. We're gonna see more impressive fighters and more impressive fighting than you've ever seen in your life.
Rob Roy Leggett, or Sharon Leggett, or Rob Roy, training out of ACS.
It was really exciting to watch the Rob Roy, James Warfield fight. For years, the promotions across Wisconsin have been trying to get these two to fight. Wisconsin erupted. It was the biggest fight of either of their careers.
The Warfield fight, everybody thought he was going to lose, which I don't know why they thought he was going to lose. You know, Warfield's tough, but Rob's just better. He's just well-rounded. He's got more skills. The guy he's fighting is real good on the ground, black belt. You know, I watched him grapple before. I think he's good. I just don't think he's aggressive like a wrestler with his submissions.
With Rob Roy, it's really working on what he's good at. You can't do your game plan. You can't strike with him, you can't wrestle him. He just kind of sucks you in, and you find yourself grappling and getting sucked into a match that you didn't want to.
And, you know, he went to WC the first time, or the first couple times, and barely trained. Now he's actually dedicated in training. So that's why you see a lot tougher and better Rob.
Representing me, my baby, ACS, Wisconsin. I'm representing a lot right there.
It's huge that Rob wins. I mean, not only for the gym, but for himself, you know, to put him to that next level.
So I think it's a good matchup. He's a jiu-jitsu buster, you know. Put him against a jiu-jitsu guy and he'll shove him around for an hour and not get tapped.
Rob's gonna win. You know, that's the thing about this fight. I'm not really even worried about this fight.
You know, he might not have great submissions, but he won't get tapped.
I don't even know what to say. I don't want to say good luck because I don't want to beat me.
Looking at Jonatas Novaes, this guy is from Brazil. He's moved to America. He's trying to make his dreams come true. And, you know, it hasn't exactly been the easiest thing for him. You know, a lot of transition, a lot of different, you know, it's completely different cultures.
Ladies, if you ever wonder why you should go to the fights with your guy, this next fighter is a prime example. I love Brazilians. I might even start drinking beer if I could find a six-pack that looked like that.
My name is Jonatas Novaes. I train here at Flow MMA here in Palatine, but I'm from Conceição da Barra, Brazil. I'm main training mais Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu still. I'm black belt, first degree. I trained this for 12 years.
Now, when we told him who he had to fight in Ryan, he was a little hesitant. He didn't really want to take that fight that much. He says, I'll take the fight, I'll fight him. But this is a big, big fight. You know, you guys are getting some big, big names in this tournament. And it became a negotiation with me and his management on purses. I think we're both pretty happy, and he went on to take the fight, and boy, was he glad he took that fight.
This fight was awesome. I'm impressed myself how I did against Ryan Thomas, because I know he's a real good fighter. I like to fight stand-up if I have to. Yeah, I don't have any problems.
He's comfortable staying in the pocket. With a lot of training, you have to train your eyes, you have to train reaction. And he's such a quick learner, you know, and so it comes so easy for him.
They should worry about everything, actually. Not gonna be common, not gonna be, I fight with my mind. I don't fight just with my hands.
Ultimately, fighting is an individual sport, but it takes your whole team to actually get to where you are. Come fight time, he's going to be ready.
I'm going to win because I'm behind my dreams, and that's what I want. Is My dream is just I want to be there one day. I want to be a big fighter. It's part of to get my dream, so no reason to don't be excited and be very excited to get that.
The guy that he's fighting is he's really, really good, and he actually has a very good name. And Jonatas, especially off of his last win, this is just going to propel him.
You are very good wrestler, very experienced, for sure.
For Jonatas to be able to fight Rob Roy is a huge thing for him. You know, he beat one big name winning the Illinois state title, and now he's going down after another big name to take the 2011 season title. You know, this is our main event. This is the biggest fight that we've got. It's going to be a test for Jonatas. It's going to be a real true test of Jonatas because the whole wrestler versus jiu-jitsu controversy. And I am very, very curious to see how Jonatas jiu-jitsu stacks up against Rob Roy's wrestling.
I think what makes Jonatas a better fighter is the fact that he's just so tenacious in his work ethic. You know, everything he hits 100%. It's his mentality, and that's something that you really can't teach. You know, you either have it or you don't have it, and Jonatas has it.
I'm going this with a lot of hunger for this win, and be ready because I'm very excited for this fight.
USA, bringing you MMA, looking state to state for the top 8 here on Prime Time, putting it all on the line for this one chance, for this one moment to stand up and shine.